Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Rachel Arazo, your intuitive tarot reading mentor. And today, excuse me, that was weird. Today, what I'm going to actually be doing is, back a few videos ago for the Facebook group, I let everybody know that I was going to start doing a series for books, and, what they are compared to tarot cards, because we did a wonderful workshop where we looked at clothing and color. We just finished the Create a Musical Tarot Deck Challenge. So you've got your music and you've got your visual aids for fashion. But if we take a look at books and literature, there are tons of examples of archetypes that we see in tarot, especially for the majors, and scenes that we can find for the minors. And when we read a book or a play or a script or anything like that, we can get the sense of an idea for a card. So I wanted to start comparing books to literature, and it's going to be absolutely fun. So the first book that we're going to be covering is The Fireman by Joe Hill. It's not a well-known book, from what I understand, when it comes to, unless you're big in your horror or if you're a fan of Stephen King, because Joe Hill is Stephen King's son. And a basic understanding of the story, without spoilers, there will be no spoilers on this, is instead of it being a zombie apocalypse, where it's the undead that are coming back because of an infection like The Last of Us, if you played that video game, how it's a spore that causes zombies. But it's not really zombies, it's people that are alive and they're infected. The spore just grows on them and it spreads like that. It's very similar, only in this case, people get infected with a spore called dragon scale. And it leaves these gold and black tattoos on your body that then have you burst into flames from the inside. You know, it's looking for a host that it can be a companion with and not worry about killing itself, and it spreads through the ash. So this entire story takes place around that kind of apocalypse, and it's funny because the main character, her name is Harper, she's a nurse, and it takes you through the beginning where she's dealing with this epidemic, and then afterward when she has the spore, but she's pregnant, and she's trying to find a cure, or at least some way to maintain it, so that she can deliver her baby safely. And I completely related with this. Completely, because you think of that when it goes, we're getting these apocalyptic scenes like The Walking Dead takes you through pregnancy during a zombie apocalypse. The new movie A Quiet Place brings you through pregnancy during, you know, a horror sequence like that. And then we have one like this, where literally if you are too stressed out, the spore will light you on fire and cook you from the inside out and you'll die. So the entire time she's trying to find this cure. And it's interesting, at first glance, it looks like it would be Judgment that this book would be the tarot card for, because it deals with the apocalypse. But through closer reading, I would relate it more to the Eight of Swords. And there's a few reasons for that. First of all, the book cover has the character, the fireman, because he is a character in the book, and all these pieces of wood are jutting at him like this Waite-Smith tarot with all the swords surrounding you for the Eight of Swords. It also has a situation, this entire book is about illusions and what you think it is. First, it's about the disease itself. Then it goes with the people that you can be around. The kind of people that you would run into and deal with this kind of thing. People that really are dead, people that aren't dead. It goes a little bit into the supernatural at a couple of parts, because that's Stephen King and Joe Hill, they do that. It must be a family thing, where they have to have that touch of, what the hell is that in there? And it's interesting because this book, I got to a certain point, I didn't want to put it down, But then towards the end, I was like, oh God, we're getting to the end of the book. I don't know if I want to keep reading. What are they going to do to this poor woman? Because it has some religious undertones and how people will become fanatics in order to protect what they believe is right when there's no actual justice system and things really break down, when anarchy happens, and it's terrifying. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to stop reading, but I do want to stop reading. I don't want to know what, I want to know what happens, but I don't want to know what happens. It's interesting. So I really do recommend this, especially if you love horror, if you love suspense. I wouldn't even call this a horror book. This is more on the level of suspense for me. It's so strong and it's ridiculous. You're on edge the whole time because you're like, oh no, what's going on? And it shows links at which some people you can push in order to see how long they'll survive. And it's such an Eight of Swords mentality because the Eight of Swords deals so much with personal illusion, both manipulation that you put yourself in, people manipulating you. There's a couple times where literally the characters are bound up like that card, and I'm just thinking to myself, oh God, this is literally the Eight of Swords here. So if you want a really good understanding of that card, read this book. It is pretty thick. It's really thick, but it's an incredibly good read. Joe Hill is a wonderful writer and he keeps you engaged the entire time. It's fantastic. So if you have read the book, or if you stop the video and go forward and read it, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. Do you think it's an Eight of Swords book? If so, cool. Tell me why. If not, tell me why too. Let's have a great discussion. You can also find me in the Facebook group and we will talk about it in there as well. So I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day and I will talk to you later. Bye.